This is a podcast that I've been working on for about a week now, just planning and building it for about a week now. I've been thinking about it, putting it all together mentally for a few months. This is a project that I've really wanted to start, that I'm extremely excited to start, and one that I'm really excited to see where it goes. Essentially what this is a political podcast. It's pretty much the description of this podcast is a right-wing, not necessarily a conservative, Republican, always Trump podcast. I am a right-wing person. I want to bring my viewpoints to the forefront, but I think I hold a very unique perspective as someone who is more so of a libertarian, not always agreeing with Trump, not always agreeing with the conservative viewpoint, and not always agreeing with the Republicans, but I still side on the right. And I think I bring a unique perspective because I have such a unique viewpoint into Gen Z, which, I mean, like it or not, is going to be one of the most powerful and one of the most influential generations of all time. So I think this is a really important podcast to have. I think this is one that I'm going to have a lot of fun with, and I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with the people that I bring on the show, with people that I debate along the way, and I'm really excited. Before I start anything, before I get into everything, I kind of just want to run down a couple different things. To begin, I do have, as of now, 3 social media platforms. So I have Twitter. That is going to be at Talking Point POD. Okay, Talking Point POD, short for podcast, of course. I'm brilliant. I have Facebook. That's just going to be a Facebook page called The Talking Point. Actually, I guess I only have 2 because that means that I'm still working on my Instagram. That'll probably be up by the time this airs, and I'll update that in the next video, and the next podcast, actually. And I also have a Patreon. So if you're not familiar, Patreon is actually a platform built for creators to kind of not crowdfund, but raise money to kind of ease the burden of creating their work. So, for instance, I'm going to use Patreon because I'm a broke college student, and running a podcast actually, surprisingly, costs money. And it costs a decent amount of money and a little bit that hurts my pockets. So I'm not begging, I'm not asking, I'm not telling you to, but if you would like to support, and if you do like my content, you can go to patreon.com/thetalkingpoint, and you can donate $1, 50 cents, $100, $5, whatever, any amount, and every single dollar that you do donate will be put directly towards expenses, and then at the end of the month, the remaining amount of money will be donated to charity. So you can trust me that I'm not going out and buying food or buying clothes with that money. So it is money well spent if you would like to support the channel. As far as platforms, this should be on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube, which I am extremely excited about. So if you are listening to the audio version only, you can go over to YouTube, and there will be a video side. And the video side, I put videos in, I put, pictures in, screenshots, statistics, stuff like that you can't get from the audio only aspect of a podcast. And yeah, I think that's about it. Also, every single link that I cite, every single statistic that I cite will be linked in the description of the YouTube video. So if you want to find the links, you have to go to the YouTube video. So yeah, I am all for, transparency in information, and I think that it is a disservice to people if I'm out here quoting different things and not explaining where that information came from. I think that is a big disservice, and I'm not a fan of propaganda. So so that's where you can find that. And yeah, I'm kind of just learning as I go, and I'm really excited for this process, this journey, and we'll see where it takes me. But today, I'm starting with a pretty relevant topic. This topic is why I am not going to vote for Joe Biden in the 2020 president election. All right? Cut and dry. All right? I am a right-winger. I'd say I'm a little bit of a conservative. But I cannot get behind Joe Biden, which, I mean, makes sense for my ideological standpoint. But I want to go through in this video kind of some of his plans that he has. These are all from his website. All the things I'm quoting him on are going to be from his website. You can go there and find it. I'm going to be breaking down 3 main topics. Okay, I'm going to be breaking down the gun control, abortion, and immigration. And then lastly, I'm just going to be talking kind of about all 3 of those and talking about the actual hypocrisy of Biden that I do not like and is the main reason that I will not vote for him. But again, why am I talking about this? Why? What's the point? I think the main thing that I've seen in this country is there seems to be no middle ground anymore. I mean, I'm not kidding. There is no compromise. Okay, it seems like the middle has eroded, and now it's left and right. Okay, American politics have become extremely divisive. Nowadays, it's come to the point where you are either an ally or an enemy, and I don't like that. I think that we can talk about things. We can have open discussions. We can agree and disagree where we feel is correct. So for that reason, we're starting on Joe Biden's gun control plan. This is from his website. In quotes, the Biden plan to end our gun violence epidemic. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And I quote, this is from the first 2 sentences. Joe Biden knows that gun violence is a public health epidemic. Almost 40,000 people die as a result of firearm injuries every year in the United States. I have a very, very, very big problem with this, and it is located exactly in that second sentence where he states almost 40,000 people die as a result of firearm injuries every year in the United States. To me, this is a direct target at the uneducated and the uninvolved political, honestly, not even a political person, just the uneducated and uninvolved citizen who's looking, okay, should I vote Trump? Should I vote Biden? A lot of people, if they care even a little bit about guns, they see that statistic. They see 40,000 people die as a result of firearm injuries. That is a big number. Okay, of course, we never want to see any people die. So to see such a big number at 40,000, that's definitely going to turn some heads. What I don't like about this, quote, is that this is extremely misleading because, and I wouldn't look to his campaign to be completely transparent and honest with us, but what they don't tell you is that 40,000 people is comprised not only of homicides, but also suicides. And in fact, suicides account for almost, if not more, than 60% of all gun and firearm related deaths every year. Okay, I say around 60%. It could be below, could be above, depending upon what year you're looking at. This data is from the National Vital Statistics System by the NCHS, which is the National Center for Health and Safety, if I'm correct. And this is from 2019, June 24th, 2019. Okay, they broke down, all these different deaths in the United States, and what they came up with is that in 2019, there were 39,773 firearm deaths. Okay, take a guess. How many were suicides? How many were homicides? Okay, this will shock you. There were, out of that 39,000, almost 40,000, 23,854 of those were suicides. I mean, absolutely baffled. And I'm not here to pick or prod at Joe Biden's campaign because that is such an astounding number and it's a very sad number. But then you scroll down, you look down a little bit and you look at the homicides. In comparison to that 39,000, there are only 14,000 firearm homicides every year. Okay, so for Joe Biden's campaign to come in and start off what he calls the plan to end the gun violence epidemic. Epidemic, because, people are walking around in the street getting murdered, apparently. He states that 40,000 people die. Which, is he incorrect? Absolutely not. I just read it. Around 40,000 people do die. But he is intentionally misleading the uneducated and the uninvolved to believe that 40,000 represents homicides. This is a pure attack on pathos, people's emotions. It is absolutely brutish, and I do not like it. I mean, can you blame him? Absolutely not. He took a chance. He saw an opportunity. His campaign saw an opportunity to take an attack at guns. I get it. Do I like it? Absolutely not. I will never support any type of repeal or restriction on the Second Amendment with a little bit of flexibility. But this next point is absolutely ludicrous. He goes in later in this, plan to end gun violence, and one of his first talking points is to one of the things that he wants to put in place, if elected, would to hold gun manufacturers accountable. Okay, he wants to allow gun manufacturers such as, Colt, Smith & Wesson, Mossberg, the list goes on. Any manufacturer of firearms, he wants to be civilly liable for a mass shooting or for any type of damage caused by their firearm. Logically, this makes absolutely no sense. Okay, let's throw out a scenario. Okay, this could not be found in any other industry. Let's take, for instance, cars. Okay, you go out to the lot, you buy a new Honda, right? You get a Honda Civic, beautiful, shiny car. You drive down the street, go stop at the bar, go to the bar for a few hours, have a couple drinks, come out, you're drunk. You hit a pedestrian and you kill him. Should his family, the man murdered by someone extremely irresponsible that should not have been driving that car, should the family of the man who was hit by the drunk driver be allowed to sue Honda? I mean, the car did exactly what it was advertised to do. The car drove. When you put your foot on the gas, it goes. When you put on your foot on the brakes, it stops. And when you steer, it turns. I mean, it's ludicrous to even think about suing Honda for that. What this idea is the exact same concept, but just related to guns. So if a mass shooter, let's say the Parkland shooter, I don't know what gun he had, hypothetical, he has a Smith & Wesson. He walks into Parkland or whatever school, commits an absolute atrocity, God forbid this ever happens again, and kills innocent people. Does it make sense that anyone should be able to sue Smith & Wesson? Does it make sense that Smith & Wesson, should be civilly liable? The firearm produced the exact thing that it was advertised to do. You pull the trigger, it's going to discharge some type of projectile. There's no false advertising. It does exactly what it's meant to do. So why should you be able to go after a company for making a completely, completely useful product? Okay, unless there's false advertising and the gun blows up in their face, I don't see the issue. I don't see it. But this is, and I'm only naming one more point because I don't want to spend too much time on gun violence. This is where we really find out the actual root to why they want to do this. And this is perfect. One of the other bullet points in his, plan to stop an epidemic of gun violence is to ban the manufacture and sale of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Absolutely astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. Does it surprise me? No, not at all. I mean, the Democrats have been trying to pass this kind of legislation 4 years. And I have to give him credit. He passed a bill, actually, in Congress in 1994 that did ban this. But he wants to essentially start this act up again. I have a problem with this. This will directly cause the seizure of every single rifle and high-capacity magazine in the country. This will stop you from being allowed to own an AR-15, an AK-47, any type of semi-automatic rifle. And again, he uses the term assault weapons. But assault weapons isn't a legally binding term. It doesn't exist. It doesn't make sense. It is a completely political term used to demonize guns and used to scare people who don't know what they're talking about, essentially. What they want, and I'm not just saying the Democrats, what I'm saying is the state, maybe not under Donald Trump, but under the high power people that control everything. They want to confiscate your guns. They want to have the power back. And they will stop at nothing to get it. Okay? And banning the sale of assault weapons, and if you're listening on audio, I say that in quotations. The ban of assault weapons is a direct step and direct action to take guns out of your hands, out of a law-abiding citizen's hands. It's essentially a power move. It's baffling to hear, and this is why it is completely political. I have proof right here that it is completely 100% political. From the FBI. This is data compiled between 2010 and 2014. All right. The number, and this is based on total firearms. So this is total firearm homicides. And this is based on which type of firearms they're using. 2010, the total amount of homicides by firearm were 8,000. And the total homicides by rifles, more specifically, was 367. Remember those numbers. So total firearms in general, 8,000. Almost 9,000. And rifles, only 300. Okay, 2011, total firearm homicides, 9,000 roughly. Rifles, 332. 2012, 9,000. Rifles, 300. I mean, this is all, if you go to the YouTube channel, I will link this in the description. This is FBI data. I have more. I have even more data. I will pull it up because what I want is the truth. I want the truth to come out. I want people to understand that this is a political move. This is data also from the FBI in 2018. Okay? The majority, the vast, and I cannot stress this enough, the vast majority of gun homicides come from handguns. In 2018, handguns accounted for 6,603 firearm homicides. Rifles, only 300. This is a political move to take rifles out of your hands, to disarm the American public, and to undermine our freedoms and our liberties. All right, so we got through the gun stuff. That was a lot of the heavier information. Next, we get into two different subjects: immigration and abortion, which to me is less of the substance. I mean, of course, you know Joe Biden's stance and what it's going to be on abortion and on illegal immigration. You know that he's going to side with the Democrats, he's going to side with the progressives, he's going to be pro-choice, and he's going to be pro-illegal immigrant. Okay? What I do not like, and what turns me off to Joe Biden so much, is the hypocrisy and the spinelessness of this man. You are talking about somebody who has served in the political arena for 47 years, and he is spineless. Absolutely spineless. This is a clip from the 2012 vice president debates against Paul Ryan, this is what Joe Biden had to say about abortion.
I accept my church's position on abortion as what we call de fide doctrine. Life begins at conception. That's the church's judgment. I accept it in my personal life. But I refuse to impose it on equally devout Christians and Muslims and Jews. And, I just refuse to impose that on others.
I don't see how a person can separate their public life from their private.
Yes, you heard it exactly there. You heard it right. Joe Biden says, I'm a Catholic. I believe in what the church says. I believe that conception creates life. And when conception happens, that is a child. But I will not restrict people in America because of my beliefs. I disagree with this. And I am all for personal liberty. I am all for, personal responsibility and personal rights. Again, I am a libertarian. This is one of the issues that I will not be a libertarian because I will not stand up for the murder of innocent citizens. Okay, he says he believes these people, these fetuses, essentially, are living beings, are people. But he won't stand up for the absolute, for actual genocide on them? He won't stand up against infanticide? Look, I get it. If you are a Democrat and you say, you know what, no, I don't believe that a baby is actually a baby until 10 weeks old. And everything before 10 weeks old, you can kill it because it's not a real life. I get that. At least I have a little bit of respect. Because then you're setting boundaries. But he doesn't even do that. He doesn't even have the courage to set boundaries. He says, when the sperm meets the egg, it is a life. But I think everybody has the right to rip it out of the mother, suck its brains out, rip its limbs apart, and throw it in a trash can. Beyond the substance of the issue, I'm already pro-life. I'm not worried about that. Beyond the substance of abortion, I cannot stand the hypocrisy and the spinelessness of a person like that. He has no integrity, absolutely no integrity to stand up for the life of another, which he claimed to believe it was an actual life. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. But again, this is not new news. He's spineless. Let's look at another example of hypocrisy from his website. Again, this is the Biden plan for securing our values as a nation of immigrants. And he's talking about illegal immigration. He's obviously, blaming Trump for atrocities against, families. And then at the last two sentences, he says, Trump has waged an unrelenting assault on our values and our history as a nation of immigrants. It is wrong, and it stops when Joe Biden is elected president. It stops when Joe Biden is elected president, apparently. I don't buy it. You know why I don't buy it? I don't buy it because I have data right here that shows that under the Obama-Biden administration, there were over 3 million deportations of illegal immigrants. Look, I'm for it. I'm all for deporting illegal immigrants. I think it should be done. But if you're walking around touting the fact that you love illegal immigrants and you think everybody deserves a good chance, and you know what, Trump, he is the devil, and he kicks out, illegal immigrants, and it will not happen under my administration. Well, you already had 8 years to stop it. You worked with the deporter-in-chief. Joe Biden, what are these numbers? What are these numbers? Over 8 years, there were over 3 million deportations. Trump's been in, this is according to 3 years, only 551,000 deportations. I mean, it's remarkable. It's remarkable for someone to tout and push such a hypocritical statement like that. And people on the left eat it up. They absolutely eat it up. It is baffling. It is absolutely baffling. But again, I can't expect anything better, like more. I really can't expect anything more. Okay? We've gone through the hypocrisy. We've gone through the illegal immigration. We've gone through the gun control. We've gone through, abortion. This is the last thing I cannot do. I cannot do with the mental unfitness. I mean, of course, that was not good grammar at all. That was pretty much awful. He is not mentally fit to be the president of the United States. And of course, people threw this on Hillary Clinton. People throw this on Donald Trump. Guys, this guy actually is like in early stages of dementia. He can't even depict which one is which, his sister or his wife. He gets them mixed up. Here's the clip.
Tuesday for nothing. By the way, this is my little sister Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh no, this is no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me.
After that clip, a lot of people were saying, is Biden, is he sexually attracted to his sister? Is that why he's taking her for his wife? Look, I don't think he's sexually attracted to his sister. And that's only because his sister is not a 15-year-old girl with good smelling hair. I'm sorry. That was brutal. That was awful. If you're on YouTube, I'm gonna roll the clip of him sniffing underage girl's hair. Here we go. Look, I'm almost done here. I'm not gonna hold you on your Friday to listen too much longer. But what I want to say is this. Look, call me cynical, call me a skeptic. I don't care. I've had it. I've had it up to here. I'm done. Call me what you want. Okay? I'm tired of hearing this lie that a dementia-ridden old man who has spent his last 47 years in politics is going to come in here, shake things up, and make our country exponentially better. I'm sorry. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I really can't, and I won't. These are the reasons I won't vote for Joe Biden. There are many more. If you would like to see a continuation of this episode where I go through some more of his policies and break them down, I am totally going to do that. Sounds great. Next week, next week, I will be predicting who is going to win the 2020 election. Now, don't just assume I'm going to say Trump. I'm going in this objectively. Okay? Trump and Biden both have equal opportunity to win this election, whether I like it or not. And I'm going to break down who I genuinely, unbiased, and objectively think will win in November. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you're on YouTube, smash the like button, comment, tell me what you want to see in the future. If you want to go on Twitter, it is The Talking Point POD. If you want to go on Facebook, it is The Talking Point. If you want to go to Patreon and donate and support me, you can go to patreon.com/TheTalkingPoint. I've been Oliver Grimes. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.